Good evening, everyone. So today we are going to do another live stream in getting some coding done on filament.uno, and more specifically, and this is a bit of a continuation from the last stream. We are going to work on a new page on the inventory page, on the inventory part. So last week I already said that I want to make a new inventory page that has all information about a specific row of filament, and later on, and that probably won't be today, I want to use that same link also on the app. So on a later stream we will be adding the information into the app, but today what we are going to do is making for each inventory item a new page. So what we have here is this is my local development environment, so all information is a bit weird, so please keep that in mind when I'm going to show. But what we are going to do, and let me put it on camera as well. So what we are going to do is currently if the inventory page has no specifics about any inventory. So I want to add a button here to view that specific filament, and from there we are going to make some nice graphs. For example, all information about on the profile has some graphs as well. And yes, this is really not any useful information because this is debug information, but I want to add graphs like this on the inventory page as well for that specific row of filament. So what we are going to do is starting with adding a new page, and from there we are going to add first the basic information, and from there we are going to add more and more to that. So if you have any questions, just let me know in chat. If there are any issues with sound or anything else, please let me know in chat as well. I did check everything up front and everything did seem to work, but just let me know if there are any issues. So yes, let's switch. So we are not going to be in Android Studio today, we are going to be in PHP Storm, and we are going to work on that. The stream will probably last around 2.5 hours maximum. I do have another appointment at 9 o'clock, so I need to make that, so I probably want to stop around 30 minutes before that. So one thing to note is for the manufacturer's page we did use something that's called a slug, or basically a nice name here in the URL. But because this is an internal page that is specifically for everyone, I don't want to force it to be unique. So what I am going to do is I just go to use the internal ID. In this case, this is, I have no idea which ID this is, but this every row of filament in your inventory, there is a ID to it, and that we are going to use to show the inventory page. Otherwise, we need to have unique names for every row of filament, and even on just one profile, that is already going to be very hard. And only the user that is viewing the data will see it. So it's not that everyone is going to see it. So I don't really care that it has a really nice URL. So in our role, we have, if everything is right, an ID, yes we do, so we are going to use that. And what I'm going to do is add a new page in the inventory controller. This is the index page. Yes, so in Symfony we can add a very easy new page. And we want to have it a role as item, and we are using ID here, so we need to provide that, and we need to say that we are going to be on I'm going to add item in the URL and then use ID there. And we want to give it a name so we can use that in the template later on. So, and what we want to do is return a template. And that will have later on some information about that specific role. And we need to create the template, and we want it in this folder. Yes, sure, add it. And did I do it right? I did, and I am going to copy for now this and then remove most of it again. So yes, let's try this for now. Let's see if we are going to break something. We probably won't be because we didn't do anything on this page yet, so that should be fine. Yes, this one still works. So what we do now, we have a basic template here and we can now link to that page, and we are going to do that in here. And we want to use a link, and the link is inventory item with us ID. I think it's like this. Yes, and we can now have a link. Oops. That's interesting. And I see it's not this nice. So what I'm going to do is a new line after each. And I am going to add a bit of CSS to this. And where is my CSS? JavaScript. I haven't done anything here in a while. Oh, my laptop shows. Interesting. Okay, and then I need to check how to create my CSS file, because I always forget it. Is it here? Okay, and I'm going to run that in the background. So what this is doing is basically going to show everything that is or it's going to compile everything of my CSS files. So I made a change a few minutes ago, and now it should be directly working. And it isn't. But it is working. Okay. I hate. So basically the button has a bit of interesting. So this button has some a 6-5 padding margin on the. So I need to add margin 5 to this one as well. Yes, and this isn't the best looking page, but I think this is okay for now. What I do want to do is set a bit of 100% and also do that to this button. So they all look the same size, so that looks a bit better. And I do need to set it to view as well. Let's add that as class, and then we can use that in the CSS again. And the advantage is because we are using Symfony Encore, this CSS is only going to be displayed on this specific page. So there won't be any unnecessary CSS for other pages. That does mean there is going to be a extra file loaded on this page, but this is a page where you need to be logged in anyways, so I don't think that is really a problem. And I think it is better to have the main CSS file smaller compared to having a very large CSS file. So now we have that done. So the next thing is actually going to make this page, and we do need the information on that page. So basically I don't think the information is queried yet, so it might be, so we probably will get the information directly. So we do have it here. Yes, we do directly get it. So what we can do here is do it like this. And we can need to use ID. And then I am going to copy this information again. And runtime error. Yes, we need. We can just remove the for loop here, and then it should work. Row flavor. We can remove this. Yes. So what we are going to do is make this. We do have a lot more space now. So first we are going to move the buttons. Let's start with removing the one to view it. And then we are removing that column, and we are going to place those buttons at the bottom. So we don't need a line break after them. And then we can remove the actions column here as well. And I need to let's add some nice text. And instead of directly writing a role, we should be able to use role.type. And I think that is, and we want it lowercase, yes. Because if it is a sample, that information is directly in there. So then if it is a sample, it will be set there instead of okay. Let's make this part of the intro text as well. And here again role.type lowercase. So, and I do want to make it pretty similar to the actual page or the previous page. So the information is pretty much the same. We don't really need this page, so that is a thing. But what I want to do at one point, I want to have NFC tags or QR codes that you can put on your filament roles or samples, and that links directly to this page, and that or links to the website itself, or it links to the app. So I do need to have a page on both the app as on the site where I do have information about this specific item. So yeah, for the site itself to have it working normally, we don't really need this information or this page at all. But for other features that are going to be added mostly in the app, but I do want, if you scan a NFC tag, that it still works. So that's why I'm going to create the page on the app as well. And yeah, we don't really need it, but it is nice to have anyways. And I need to have a link that I can use from here in the app as well. So if you look at the previous stream, we saw we were using app links, and we are going to use app links again for this as well. So that is something for the next stream, and we will see how that's going. It's great. YouTube is suggesting I'm sending too much data to them. That's not something I have seen before. Interesting. So yes, let's continue. So basically what I want to do is add a bit of graphs here. Before we continue, I want to check how this looks in mobile. So let's see if we enable mobile view. I want to do, yes, an iPhone 10. So yes, this doesn't look super great on mobile, but I am fine with that. I do see we have some left space, but it will be fixed later. Yes, perfect. Or not perfect, but good enough for me. So let's make this a bit nicer. We do need to make sure these buttons work, because now they probably give a error. or not. They don't give an error, but they don't do much either. Ah, I see we have a smashing space there. That's interesting. Let me directly fix that and also fix that on the index, because we did copy it from there. What I need to do, and now I have an empty row of filament here, that's not good. I do need to copy some of this HTML. So what I'm going to do is, instead of having it in this file, we need to have this twice. So we are going to get that and add a new file. Form. Okay, let me check if this is everything we need. It is. Yes. So what we can do now in index.html is just use an include of print from HTML. It is in inventory. That one. And now if we press print, this works. Yes. Interesting. We get a 500. Oh, I do need to stop this for a minute. Symfony server. Okay. It is interesting that something wasn't working. Print 25 at. Yes, now it's working from this page. So let's make sure it is also working from this page. It isn't, and someone is calling. So let's. Of course, we need to make sure that item is also available in this page. It doesn't really matter where that HTML is. So 25. So this one is working. Now let's try mark empty. That is also working. Perfect. And then the buttons go, and that's exactly what we are expecting. So now what we are going to do, and let me run the messenger, Symfony messenger. And again, I am forgetting the comments. Consume and ID. So basically, PHP or Symfony programming is not my day job, so I know how to my way around, but I don't know every command, and that is sometimes a bit of a problem. So it is doing we did have some information or some odd messages waiting, and let me check. The public profile should now be, yes, we did print some stuff, so that is exactly what we are expecting. So the next thing, and we are pretty quick, I didn't expect it, to be fair. So what we are going to do now is add some nice graphs here. And basically the information we have is probably the most interesting is the weight statistic, because that is the information we have on our ROM. It's not really interested to see the total, or the total printed statistics is actually we can do both. They should be basically opposite from each other, and we do have that information, I think. So let's create that. What we are going to do, and I need to check again on this, how I'm doing this. Webpack config, I think I do need to add a page, yes. Inventory item. And what I then can do is I copy public profile, because that has a graph as well, and that's really what we are going to need. And from there in my HTML, and we need to add a second script tag. I do want to reuse the main inventory page, and maybe I can include that. But let's not do that. Let's just keep it separate for now. We are going to have one chart. And we need to add a new route in a minute. Yes. So we need to get row.id. Okay, we can't add that to the block, so do it here. And then I need probably to, oh, not that one, this one. Did it create my inventory item file? Yes, it did. So now it probably will work. Yes. And then let me check, because yes, it did nicely add the raw ID. Um, what is the... Sometimes I'm not understanding. I have the idea it does have much more as actually needed. Because it is loading a lot of JavaScript, for which for my idea isn't really necessary. Because I believe only the thing required is an inventory item and an inventory here. But it is doing much more. But I assume Webpack is doing it right. So we have the raw ID, and I want to check how I'm doing this on the public profile. Yeah, I'm editing it at the end. I'm fine. I think it's a bit more nice to edit at the top there, like I have now. And I do need to add so the route inventory item. Yes, that's correct. I need to create that one. So what we do need to do is add a new API page for the website, and that's in this controller. And how did I name it? Inventory item. What we need to do is make sure the we can create a graph. So we want to create a new method. And it's going to have a row with ID. And we are going to create the route, and the name is what we provided. And we need to set the options, because that's what it's going to be able to use in JavaScript. And we want to have a nice page, and we already have a prefix there, so that's okay. That's correct. And then I need to check how this bundle is named, because I always forget how this works. JS route bundle. Because what we need to do is generate let's probably this public JS post JS routes. Yes, so we can use that. So this generates the routes, so we can use them in JavaScript. and I need to do it like this. So we can use it in JavaScript, so we don't need to hard code it all URLs. And basically what it is generating a list of, basically a JSON array of all data required for the page, and it is interesting. I did notice that the host and things are set in this file, and this of course differs us on production. That's interesting, but it does work on production, so I assume it is right. So now it should have a, yes, it goes wrong, and that's interesting, or that is expected. The controller must return a Symfony complete response. Yes, we didn't write that yet. So what we want to do is return a new JSON response with an array of data. And we are going to return a total weight and a total printed. And if I believe so, we are going to modify the user stats repository find by user. What we need to do is interesting. It does have no sorting, so we don't need any sorting. Okay, so we can just probably use, because in her role there should be a relationship to roles used. So and another thing we need to do is make sure, and I'm going to do that in a minute, that we have permission to view this. That's so how this user stats repository, is that something different as this might be harder as I expected, because the user stats repository is different. Let me see, message handler. Yes, I do have the information, of course. But every night, all information is basically calculated. So we don't have the information based on a row, but only in total. Okay. So that makes it like a very lot harder to do what we wanted to do. But we might still be able to do it. Yes. What I want to do is so we are going to start with id get total weight start. Nee, get total. Yes, get total weighted state. And id is get filament used at start. And on access is id created at, because we need to set that as well. So let's see what information is returned now. And we need to format this. Get filament weight minus id get filament used at start. And one moment. Sorry, one of my neighbors came by to ask for a package I had for them. Okay. So, yes. So we have now the start rate and the total printed. And what we now can do is, from the filament used, we can add every point it is used. So from there we can do For each row as ID get rows used. I always forget how this works in every language. ID get rows used as row, probably then. Yes. So we want get date format to day, month, year, and we do that in Css. And we want to do on total weight, total printed. You need to have this information, so printed is that, and weight that, and I am only going to subtract as if. And this is printed, and this is weight. This is printed, and this is weight. Am I doing it right? I think so. And then total printed plus is plus is row get grams, and total weight is min is row print get grams. Total printed is total printed. Unsupported operand types. Interesting. Okay. Oh wait. I need to use the correct variable. And then we can probably do this again. And it is interesting because I did expect something else. Okay, I made the same mistake there. And total weight is weight. So okay, I think this is a nice looking graph. I do like this. It is a bit interesting that we have the dates here from that. I do wonder, because I know that from if this works. And so we add the hour and minute as well. I guess that looks a bit nicer. And in this case they are all the same. But probably not on the second. So let's see, do I have anything? Yeah, so we will need to deploy this to see how it is looking on live. So filters, hide empty. Why don't we have a view button for that? Is interesting. So we have a small issue there. Let me check on the template. We probably have it in an if tag. Yes, we do. So we want it outside that if tag. So let's view this one. Yes. So I do like this. It is for a first version. I think it is a nice version. So what we are going to do is deploy this to the website. Oh, I am very sorry. So, wow. Okay, so I'm very sorry. I actually didn't notice we did have the wrong camera. I have no idea how long that has been. Sorry for that. I'm very sorry. So basically this is what we are having now. So we have a nice graph for each row. We are going to deploy this to the website and see how it looks there. And then we actually did this pretty fast. So wat we might want to do is...
Ik kijk of ik toolbar dit kan vinden.
Okay, hou je mond. We might want to look at the Android app as well to see if we can add the same page there. Maybe. But let's first deploy this to the site. Okay, let's push this. That's the wrong one. So it's pushing, so let's log in to my deployment machine. And yes, it is still pretty slow. I am very sorry for that. But what we are going to do is deploy this to the server, and then we can see if it is working on the live server as well. And we have basically in a just under an hour we added a nice new feature to the site, including some nice graphs. And this shows, now I've set up a basic setup of the website, which wasn't that hard. How we can very easily add new pages and do things without doing a lot of coding or without any large development. So yeah, having this framework using is a really nice feature, and I do really like it. And yeah, basically within an hour we have developed a feature and deployed it. And I think that even with this small feature, it is a really nice, nice way to have it done. And YouTube is complaining again that I'm sending not enough data. Sorry YouTube, but I can't help that a black screen isn't a lot of data. Well, this is deploying. Let me start Android Studio already. That will take a few minutes as well. Let's see how this is going to switch from language again. Because that's not the first time today I am switching languages. And let me start the emulator on the background. And with a bit of luck, we will be able to have the inventory page on the Android app as well today. So that if we are going to be able to do that will be really nice actually. I am not sure about the environment. I should be in production, yes. So basically for the Android app, I am thinking I do want to remove the two buttons here. Maybe. It will add a extra step, but I do think the view here is not great. So maybe I leave them there, but yeah, I don't know. So first it is deployed now. So now if we are going to my profile, oh, I do need to log in, I see. On inventory, yes, we do have a nice, so this one I used, so let's see. That's not a really nice graph. Let's see, I do know, for example, maker point. Probably this one. So yes, this is, I do like this. So we started at 750 grams. Then in April we printed. Yeah, probably this was when we first added the site. So this is probably not actually 569 grams printed there. But then over time we did print every now and then. And then on October 24th it was empty. Let's see. This one, yeah, this was only 2. Green floor, I think. Yeah, this is basically the same. We started with 0, but then we started printing a bit later. So yeah, I do love, oh, we probably should change the bits. So, and now we did deploy something, but we didn't add any permission checks. So before we are going to work on Android, we need to fix that. So what we want to do is add a security check. And this is in, even kijken. Or let's see. Yes, we can use the raw voter here. So what we want to do is make sure that we have access to this. And okay, so we should be able to, in the site API, we can use this. And what we are going to do is simply add this. And in this case, it doesn't matter what attribute we provide. And we also need to do that in the router itself, or any other router, because there we have the same. And Symfony here checks if the, I did copy the wrong one. Symfony checks here, basically with the voter we have, if the information is available for this user. And let me check. Security security. Yes. Okay, what I want to do now is on a different browser, check. Yes, I don't have a different user, I think. Let me see. Do I have locally a different user? Test. I have no idea what the password is. That was the same. So yes, we do not get a nice message. Okay. So basically this prevents the inventory page because the inventory is something that just is visible by the user and not for everyone, because we don't want to give the information public. We want to make sure we check the rights, the access rights, before we are going to give the information to the user. And basically we have a voter, and that is something in Symfony built in. And in the voter, it checks if the user is logged in. If it's not, then we deny access, and otherwise we check if the owner of the role is the same as the user. And with that, it helps that we make sure that or Symfony makes sure then that everything is checked. And we can now here see under security that the voter here, the view role voter, or the view the role voter here, and that's this one, denied access, and that is based in this case on the owner, because first we were not logged in, then we directly got the login screen, and now because it is not we are logged in as a different user, we do get the error that it is not available. So let's also make sure to commit this. And we are going to deploy that as well. Yes. And then we can deploy this again. And we should basically have done this before we actually starting to test it on the live site. But sometimes you just forget something. So while this is deploying again, let's see if everything is looking okay. That looks like so. And what we are then going to do is make sure this is getting deployed. And then we are going to start adding the Android page. So first thing, and we see the page in the background, first thing we need to do is add a new page in the mobile notification. Because what we want to do is, and this thing is a mess. I did expect to have something from, but probably not. We want to go from navigation inventory to something like yes. And then we want to have an argument or an action to a new fragment. And probably is not the right. I want to use this one instead. I action to view item navigation view inventory. And I want to check not sure what what that does. We want to add a new fragment. I do hate their layout thingy, and okay. And we probably want to go back there. And we want to go back to inventory. And as you can see, we did create a loop now, and we want to add a new fragment. And first, let's check the site to see if everything is still working, and not this one. not this one either. This one. And okay, I have no idea. Let me check on a different computer if I can find something to see on the admin panel if we have an ID from some other user, if we can see that. Okay, so this might actually not be the nicest error message. Because this error is not broken. You don't have simply to write for it. So maybe we should do a bit nicer error message instead of this error. But yeah, that's something for another time. At least we are now not showing any information to a user that's the user not supposed to see. So that's actually a really good thing. That's basically what we want. So yes, let's continue working on the app. We want to add a new fragment, and we want to do it in inventory, and we want to just copy that for now. Yes, and we probably don't need everything here, but we will see that in a minute. Inventory, fragment inventory, item. And what we want to do in navigation is use inventory item. And we create this string. And it is an inventory item fragment. Okay, and let's first start cleaning off this for a bit. Wait a minute, we need to add in mobile navigation before we forget it. Add the argument what what item we are going to send. And now my laptop crashes again. Or not my laptop, my desktop. There we go. And we need to do that with a argument. And I need to check how this is got in my class objects inventory item. Okay, and what we can do now here. So we don't need to update the interface. The comments are not needed here. We don't have a recycler view, swipe container, swipe container. text menu. So we don't need to say we do have a hash create context menu. We are not going to do anything here. We do not need to on attach. On detach is not needed. Update data is not needed, and this is not needed. So this cleans up nicely, and we will start adding information in a bit. What we want to do is instead a layout. We want an inventory item. So let's stop the app and try to load it. And let's see how this works. If we broke something or okay, we did break something. Inventory item is not serializable. Okay, we can fix that. Okay, stop it. Interesting that this isn't a compile time error. And we are locked out again. Yay. Are we locked in on the side? No. Okay, so let me switch to, because otherwise I need to type in my password and I don't want to do that on the, actually, let me do it like this. So give me a minute by copying my password. So we can use the live data because that's a tiny bit easier as using the test site for this kind of things. Okay, there we go. So we do now have, and let me slower this a bit. So you see the emulator as well. So we are logging into the app. Basically, what we want to do is at the moment we touch this, we open that new page. So the inventory fragment should have something like, and I did expect so we do want to do something here, and what we want to do is a something with directions. Inventory fragments directions. Action to view item, and the item is item. So if I understand it right, we simply should be able to do this, and that is all of it. So let's try this. And we do have 1 hour left, and if it is really looking like this, we will have a really nice progress if you have both the Android app and the site itself fixed with everything I wanted. We have done a really nice job. So Okay, so interesting enough, the back button isn't working. So let me see how that works on manufacturers. Okay, so we need to implement this method. Sorry, I so basically what this method does is the ability to return get activity that should not be null. So let's see if this works. And I'm making sure everything is still working right at the same time. Okay, the app is loaded. It's not returning. Do I need to set? Maybe I should set has options menu. It is interesting that you actually need to set or do this yourself. Okay, and it is loading. What is interesting, that's something we do need to fix, is if we are returning to the page, which is interesting because I did expect this. So I am wondering why I expected it to reload the data. Yes, and it is, of course, we're doing it now. We are not. So is this going to be it? So we need to rebuild it. Oh, maybe. We probably are doing something similar here. Let me see. We are using on resume, yes. So basically, and I don't like this actually, that we need to do this. So, and what we want to call is start updating inventory data. And there my editor goes. Okay, let's see if this works. Inventory steady tick. It works. Interesting enough. I did expect. Okay, so we probably should I have no idea what my desktop is doing. I am. So let's see if it's now actually starting to show the refresh icon. Yes. So that's nice. Okay, and what I want to do is actually copy this and use that here as well. And I know we just removed that, but I do need some of the same information, namely mark empty and print. So we can use that here. And this isn't great because now we are checking here for something that's not related to this class, but I am perfectly fine with that. Otherwise I need to create a new interface that has the same method, and that's not great. And we are logged out again. It is interesting that I hear that interesting talk twice. That's something on my do we have a memory leak? Oh. So this is fine. Okay, so now let's make it a bit nicer. So content. Yes, what I want to do actually is just use the same info as the other one. As start. So let's see. This is a bit unfortunate because we now have a bunch of duplicate code. and I prefer not to have that, but that's how it's going to work, at least for parts of this now. So let me copy this. I do only want it from here to here, and that's going to be going in here. And how do I get the inventory item? That's a great question. Let me see from here. Or let's see here. Inventory item is inventory fragment arcs from bundle. Get inventory item. And what we want to do is now make some settings here. We need to copy a bit more. Maybe. Let's see, we want to copy this. And this. And name. Okay. And because we did copy it from the other part, everything is the same, or it has the same idea, and that's not ideal, but okay. Yes, for our first version, this should work. And I need to remember not press mark empty or print because this is live data. So we do get the information here. So for now, for this very first item, and I know we are not that far into the string, I think I'm just going to leave it like this. I want to change the title from this thing. Because I don't like how it's called inventory item. Let me see if I... Okay, so I'm doing the same thing in here. So let's see. Of course, I can copy. So as you can see, like the whole app is copy and paste code. Do I care? No, it works. That's the end result. Does it look nice? No, absolutely not. But it is something, and it is working. That is already something I never expected. Ah, yes. We want to use something different as just this. Yes, this is complaining about null pointers. That won't happen because this is always available. Okay. So, what I do want to do is switch to a local site and just test the two buttons there and make sure they are correctly working as well. And after that, it is probably 8 o'clock, and then we are again in a full 2-hour stream, and I think that is a really nice time to end it. We have done a lot of work, a lot more as I expected, and I think that's a great thing. And then on the next stream, and this might be actually this weekend, but we will see how everything is going. I am planning to start working on linking from this page. So this one has 300 grams. That's too much. Print. This saying saving. I don't know which one it was, of course. Let me add a new filament. And I want to add it as engine. Yes. So let's add a new filament, and then under engine we have now this one. So we have 600 grams, so let's print 50 grams. So, okay, so it is possible to print, but the stuff doesn't get updated. And that is of course correct. And we don't really get the data back, I think. Let me check in print filament. We do get returned an object. So let me check the documentation. So what I do want to know, if I do print filament, what does get returned? Nothing. So basically we want to update the data, of course, but we want to make sure it is done nicely. I am going to make a update to the API controller, inventory controller. What we want to return is the updated raw to the inventory. And it looks like we already get that data. So it looks like my documentation wasn't up to date. So let me check it now here. And this has a complete different. Yes, so now the information is returned. And let me make sure I both use yes. Okay, so what I can do here, instead of returning, I want to use an inventory item. And then I also need to change it here, because this is now broken. And now I just need to find a way to mark this as so how okay, this is an updatable interval. So yes, I think this is something going to be for next stream. So I don't plan on publishing this version of the app yet. I do want to publish it at the same time everything is working. So let me make myself bigger. So what we are going to do in next stream is making sure the page is correctly updated, and from there on we are going to implement the app links like we did last time, but now for this specific page. And if we have time, and I doubt it because last time we already spent 2 hours on the other page, might be go a bit faster now. If we have more time, we are going to do the same thing for, are we going to look at NFC tags and QR codes and things like that. But I think that is not going to happen next stream itself. So my idea is to do it somewhere this weekend, probably on Saturday, but I need to see. On Sunday I do have something else in the afternoon with a lot of beer, so I won't be able to do a stream after that probably. So probably on Saturday evening I will start working again on this, depending on everything going this week. It might actually be Friday as well. So yeah, like I said, next time we are going to continue on this, and yeah, the goal on next stream is basically having a version ready to get published to the App Store. And if it has NFC support yet or not, we will see. But I think we might do that for the next release. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it all, and hopefully till next stream, probably on Friday or Saturday. And then we are going to finish off everything that we have started today. So thanks all for watching, and see you then.